So in the beginning, we created a movement score to sort of essentialize and summarize the core ideas from our manifesto presentations. And then the other members of the cohort would then integrate and embody the mask in their own way. While the scores themselves may or may not have ended up in the final presentation, they were an essential component to the devising process. As we continued to work on our scores, we moved on towards developing freeform improvisations, sometimes prompted from a specific provocation. This one, for instance, was a response to Shai's proposition of paper reading, this group paper reading. And once we had constructed this space for all the manifestos to live, it evolved into this paper stuffing, paper gorging creature, a being, an entity, is hiding underneath this flap. And we are forcing ourselves, our will, our authority into the opening. And as we continued to do these improvisations, these long-form, highly free improvisations, different actors stepped in, different events happened, the sequencing changed, but at the core, it stayed the same. This stuffing, this curiosity, not necessarily forceful, but sometimes playful, but certainly a dominating force over this being inside. During the same time that we were having these freeform manifestos, we were concerned with dramaturgy, and so we started juxtaposing certain sequences that had come about. And this one was Lisa's manifesto critique of the me culture and this idea that the self is all that matters.
Look at me, please. Yeah? Look at me. It's all about me.
Do you think I'm pretty?
So we found that when juxtaposing these two images together, it created a narrative of society imposing its will upon the individual, and the individual coming out the other side focused on selfish things. This is the component of my technical application to the manifesto. I'm still working on how to integrate technology into live theater, and that proves especially challenging in spaces that are still not fully connected via Wi-Fi or even broadband data. So what I tried to do here was focus on limiting what could be seen by the viewers both in the space and digital space. In the same way that the way that media chooses what to show to control the narrative, I controlled what could be seen above the audience's head as the screens prevented the view from the action. And these are snippets from both our improvisations as well as the final product from the day of the manifesto performance. As a side note, one of the interesting things to come out of this group project was following proposals that stemmed from the others' personal manifestos, their artistic visions. This work with clay was a proposition to try to get in touch with our more human, our more primal instincts. And during the improvisation, while we didn't have any necessarily specific clay work things we wanted to say, the primal qualities spoke to us, and in a way it helped us create a foundation, a baseline from which to start to layer our visions for the future. Because in this primal state there is little ego, and from there you can start to build a person. Thank you again for following along with me as I try to give a brief understanding, a brief overview of the process that it took to create these works. It's been an interesting journey, and I'm very much still in the process of figuring things out. And I'm excited to continue to develop a new awareness for the work.